This video is from the latest episode of my podcast with Amp Summers, and we're talking all about kink and BDSM. And I hope that you enjoy these clips. The full video episode is available for my patrons, and the podcast is available to listen wherever you get your podcasts. And I hope that you enjoy this lovely kinky conversation.
How did you discover you were kinky?
Oh, like most people, you were doing things as a kid going on into your teen years, and you felt something in your stomach that fluttered when you got, like, caught in the cops and robbers game that you played in the neighborhood, which is literally what happened. For whatever reason, one of the other kids had rope, and we were tying people down to the chair and, like, playing, cops and robbers, and it was my turn to get tied down, and I was just like at 12, I was just kinda like, "I don't know what's going on, but I like
I like
this.
it.
I
Yeah.
like this." And then, the internet and just kind of explored from there. But when I became sexually active, I found that kink wasn't something that you got a lot of education on. Didn't really have
Mhm.
tons of resources back then. And that's when we started, the YouTube thing. I did sex work with kink.com for a good number of years. Um, yeah. I dived headfirst into the kinky pool.
I love that. You're like, "This thing made me feel interesting."
Yeah,
So
and
let's
so
just
I
do you
jumped
think that,
into it and
do you think that most people kind of discover their own kinks, like, accidentally?
I th I don't wanna say most people, but I will say,
Mm.
like, the again, I'm gonna use the Spider-Man reference. The spider bite, like, it happens for everyone, and everyone always remembers, or not everyone, but most people remember, like, when it happened and how they
Mhm.
accidentally fell into it, you know? Whether it was, like, you just accidentally got slapped by someone and then you kinda just felt like, "Oh," or if it was, like, playing cops and robbers with kids or just wrestling around, like, we don't talk about, and I think a lot of people don't, the people that don't have that spider bite don't realize it because we don't talk about sex, and they didn't know how to
Mhm.
process that feeling probably. Um, but I hope that more and more we're being more open with conversations.
People assume that, like, kink always means, like, kinky sex, but the more that I've also been learning about, kink is that it's not always sexual. And you said the word before, that a lot of it is play.
Mhm.
Um, and again, this, like, sounds really weird, but it's like you said, like, you're playing cops and robbers as a kid, and then, like, kink is like an adult version of play. If you
Mhm.
think about, like, roles and creating, like, a scene and then playing out that scene, and then it's just like it's elevated into, like, adulthood because maybe there's some sex stuff involved, but also, like, there are potential, like, risks involved depending on, like, what, um, kind of kink or BDSM that you're doing. So that's something that, like, is not for kids, obviously.
Absolutely.
Um, but the kind of, like, that foundation of, like, let's play, let's explore, let's, like, pretend to be something else and, like, play roles and, like, interact with each other in this, like, way that we've designed that feels like when you were at the playground playing mummies and daddies.
I mean, there's plenty of playground at the adult events too, but, there's usually people
Mm,
hanging from them in different no,
yeah, adult monkey bars and and all sorts of things.
I mean, so when I was working at the sex shop that I used to work at, like, I was designing stuff and I had, like, a desk, upstairs, but downstairs was this gigantic, pretty much storeroom
Mhm.
floor with just toys upon toys. But then upstairs, like, I had full view of, like, our studio where we shot commercials and stuff, and it was just like a jungle gym. There's always some naked people, trying out toys and recording things. So, like, but anyway, back to your question, which I think was like, is it always sexual? No. Like,
Mm. Mhm.
easy answer, no. Because, like, a lot of people come and find their kinks, and they do it sometimes sexually, but
Mhm.
sometimes it's just nice to get, like, that emotion out, that feeling out, like, cathartic,
Mm.
like, flogging or other impacty sorts of things for a lot of people are not just about sex. Like, they're and you might not even be aroused or hard as you're
Mm.
getting flogged. It might just be something that like really helps get your juices flowing. For some people, they get not a replacement for therapy, but they get therapeutic like feelings by getting into their kinks with someone,
Mhm.
and like you're also making a connection, especially if it's someone that you've trusted and you're having conversations with, and you have
Mm.
if you have a daddy that you're getting really close with, like it's not always sexual, but it is always something very personal.
So with like animal role play and puppy play, I feel like that's something that gets a lot of judgment from like the
Oh
outside
yeah.
of the kinky world. And I was just wondering, what do you like about it?
Sure. Um, I like it. I like animal role play, puppy play because it is playful. It is
Mhm.
something that does not, again, it's not always sexual for people. It's only with actual people. No animals are ever involved. Like the
Mhm.
misconceptions,
Yeah.
get those out of the way.
Yeah.
But like if you just were like talking to someone that was like maybe interested or just had questions about it, the first place I always go is like, well, like if you were a dog or a cat or whatever animal you would role play as, like how would that look? How would you be? Because every person has this different idea of what a dog acts like or what the ideal dog like is playfully, or
Mhm.
whether they're like mischievous dogs, or maybe they're a Rottweiler versus like a Chihuahua. Like everyone has like
Mm.
a dog that they see in their mind when they get into the play, and I just love how not scary it is, but how playful and approachable it is. Because when we think
Mhm.
of kink, we think of maybe 50 Shades of Grey or like an American Horror Story gimp suit. But honestly, puppy play is very playful. It's like this beginner level kink that you can just get into and wrestle around and have fun.
Mhm.
And that's what I love about it.
Yeah, and it again, like it like you said with the playfulness, I feel like that we kind of have this idea that like once you become an adult, you're not allowed to play anymore. And you have to like be serious all of the time, and you're not allowed to have fun. Do you know what I mean?
I
And
do,
but then like
unfortunately.
by embracing something like puppy play or any kind of like role playing and like kind of kinks like that, you're just going, "Hey, no, I'm an adult and I can still like play around and I can still like have I want to
Fun.
say childish fun, but without obviously those connotations." But yeah, and actually you just saying that made me think. I was like, "Oh, if I wanted to like role play as any animal, I would probably want to be a cat just because I'm the kind of person who I'm like, give me attention, stroke me, like, let me just curl up on your lap whilst you just like, stroke my hair and be nice to me." Like that's that's
Yeah,
what
see,
I want.
but if you touch me in the wrong spot, attack. No.
Yeah, exactly. Just like, "No." Bad.
Yeah, no, I'm
Yeah.
I'm more of a German Shepherd myself, like, loyal and dependable. I think that I'm, smaller than I actually am, and I, like, jump on you to cuddle, but, like, very affectionate, very affectionate.
Oh, I love that.